You see that right there? Yeah, that is the sign of fiberglass and resin and lightweight speed parts. Welcome back to the Daily Misfire, and today we're going to be talking about fiberglass parts and how they can affect the weight on your car and how much you actually save by going to fiberglass bumpers, hood, and fenders on a 67 Nova, but this also transfers to any other car because, you know, fiberglass is fiberglass, steel is steel. So that being said, let's jump right into the video. Weight reduction. To my knowledge, there's really only two good ways to make a car go fast, and I know we're going to throw suspension kind of out of it for a second because you have to have either a lightweight car or a lot of horsepower to make suspension work either way. And that's what we're going to be talking about is lightweight stuff. I mean, since the dawn of racing, people have been throwing the spare tire, the radio, you know, throwing away the heavy bench seat, putting plastic buckets in cars, you know, trying to lose some of that beer weight that you might have, and trying to get that extra little bit out of the car, you know, because you might not be able to afford that cylinder head, that stroker combination, but you can afford, well, I don't need the back seat, I don't need, you know, front bench seat, I don't need, you know, a wiper motor, I don't need that stuff, and if I can save 200 pounds out of the car, well, that's 0.2 of a second by a lot of people's knowledge and, you know, ideas and everything. And if you really start going fast, like we know from Cleus McFarland's recent stuff, you build fiberglass bodies for everything. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. So we're going to be going over fiberglass parts and what they actually weigh and how much they can actually save you on the racetrack and stuff like that. And the parts that we're going to be using are all parts that are for a Nova. So most specifically, they're going to be for a 66 to 67 Nova. But pretty much, I feel like this is probably a very generic, very good kind of reference point for anyone that's looking just in general at fiberglass stuff. This will help kind of show you how much weight you're actually going to save on your car. I'm Italian. We're gonna use our hands because, you know, that's what I do. For starters, I have a fiberglass hood on my Nova. One, because I like it. Two, because it saved me 30 pounds off the car. So you can go back when I did this hood originally, probably 5 videos, 10 videos ago, whatever it's been. The original stock 67 Nova hood is about 52, 53 pounds if I remember right. And the hood that's on it now is about 25. So you're saving about 25, 30 pounds off the car just off of that, not including the lighter weight springs, stuff like that. So right off the rip, just off of a hood, you're saving 30 pounds. And like I mentioned before, a good reference point is every 100 pounds you save off the car is 1/10 of a second when you're drag racing. I have no reference point for fiberglass stuff, you know, when you're road racing, stuff like that. I just know the Corvette was always made out of fiberglass because it was lighter weight and it was easier to build for them when they were building the bodies and stuff, but specifically for racing, it was just easier that way and it saves weight. So just for reference point, Chevrolet always made the Corvette off of fiberglass, so have that with what you will. Secondly, we are going to be looking at, obviously, this is fiberglass. You can see. Yeah, so if you happen to find our marketplace like I did, fiberglass bumpers, hood, and fenders for like 300 bucks, that is a very cheap way of making your car probably 100 pounds lighter. But how much weight does that actually save you? Let's jump into it. Alright, so for our little information gathering experiment that we have going on here, we have a very high-tech bathroom scale that I'm going to stand on while we measure the fiberglass to steel. And we also have a steel bumper and a fiberglass bumper. For a 67 Nova, all this stuff is parts probably going on my wagon. The bumpers may be going on my Nova. If I feel like the Nova's about to hit like an 1195, I may throw those on just for the sake of it because I know I've done this once already for my own peace of mind and everything. But you are about to see how much this actually saves. And it's actually surprising how much this saves because there's either one or two ways you can think about this. One of them is either this doesn't save a whole lot, it's not really worth anything, it's easier to just go buy a cam, which it might be. Or you've already bought that cam, you've already bought the parts, and your car runs a little bit slower than you want it to, and you don't want to take your entire engine combination apart just for that, and if you put bumpers on your car and hit the number you want to hit, that's what this is all about. So if you can save, say, an extra 50 pounds or 30 pounds off your car, that's everything when it comes to drag racing. So with that being said, we're going to go through the bumpers first. The bumpers. We're going to go through the fenders first, and then we're going to hit the bumpers after that, and then we'll add everything together and we'll go over the findings. So I'm going to take you over to the Gopro now, and we'll go from there. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to measure myself, and you're going to see how fat I actually am and how much weight I need to lose. So 243.4 is what I'm at. Let me do it again just for posterity here. Yep, 243.4. So with that out of the way, let's grab our steel fender. And it is a little rusty, I will admit, which rust is lighter than carbon fiber, so says Mike Finnegan. However, let's see how light it is compared to a fiberglass fender. So 260.4, which is actually very useful then. So 17 pounds. Next, we're going to hit the fiberglass fender, and we're going to see how much lighter this is. $253.6 with me. So that's 10 pounds. About. We'll say about 10 pounds right now. Alright, the next thing we're going to grab is one of the steel bumpers, which this is the front bumper. So I can't imagine the rears being that much different. 261.6. Which that's surprising because the bumper is actually heavier than the fender was. Now we're going to hit the fiberglass bumper. 249 even for the fiberglass bumper. By far the lightest thing that we could have possibly grabbed. Alright, so now we have all of that data from these fenders and bumpers. Let's get into it. We'll actually see exactly how much weight you would save by swapping over to fiberglass stuff. Alright, so after doing some really quick math here.
That's fast math. We could use you in Tulsa.
We can break down the fenders first, and we'll break into the bumpers, and then we'll kind of add everything together, and then I'll have my final, 2 cents after all this. I have a pen. So the fiberglass fenders came in at 10.2 pounds, while the steel ones came in at 17 pounds. So this is per fender, obviously, and the average savings you're going to get between just per side of the fender is 6.8 pounds. So take one fender for the other, you're going to save about 7 pounds out of the fenders, and you're going to save about 14 pounds total, 13.6 pounds, just by going from, if you use all the same brackets, all the same pieces, you're going to save 13.6 pounds just by going to the fiberglass by using both fenders. Then we're going to break into the steel bumpers. The steel bumper came in at 18.2 pounds, and the fiberglass bumper came in a whopping 5.6. Those things are super, super, super light. They almost feel like they're plastic. They're so light. They're insane how light those things are. So if you break that down, you're going to save about 12 pounds, 12.6 pounds per bumper for about 25 pound total weight savings off the car. Again, you're not using the lightweight brackets. You're not using, any of that stuff. You're literally taking your heavy, huge bumper, throwing it in the trash, using those steel heavy brackets that you would use for the bumper, which are, the whole crash rated, all that stuff, on the plastic or fiberglass bumper that you have. You're going to put that on, and you're going to save 25 pounds front and back. So if you, did all that, you changed out nothing else, and you just put fiberglass bumpers and fenders on your car, you're going to save about 40 pounds. Now that's on a 67, 66, 67 Nova, but I feel like that's probably pretty comparable as far as the percentages go. If you have a, say a Monte Carlo, you have, say, a Chevelle, they might be a little bit heavier as far as the parts themselves, but that difference is going to be very similar. So you can expect to save around 35 to 40 pounds, depending on what you're running, what you're using for fiberglass stuff. not including, say, a fiberglass hood, which the fiberglass hood on my car, like I said before, saved me about 25-30 pounds. So right there, if you add up all that stuff, you don't use any, lightweight parts to mount anything, you're going to save about 65 to 70 pounds off the front of the car, which is huge. Like I said before, 100 pounds is a tenth of a second. Well, you almost just saved 100 pounds just with all that stuff. So if you're trying to hit, if you're at 1201, you're stuck at 1201, 1205, you can't get that 1199 number that you want to hit. By doing all this stuff, it's going to hit 1190, like every single time, just by you taking weight off the front of the car. And we talked a little bit about it before, but taking weight off the front of the car is huge. That's why guys move batteries to the back of the car, like what I'm going to be doing on my Nova very soon. You relocate the battery from the back to the trunk. That gets more weight over the rear tire, and you're also saving weight off the front end and allowing that suspension to move like it should and work like it should. Which, if you don't know me and you haven't watched my channel, go watch the racing videos. I am so close to getting that front tire off the ground. So I am probably very soon going to put those bumpers on my car, and I'm relocating the battery to the back, because right there, that alone, we know it's saving 70 pounds off the front of the car with the battery, say, is 50 pounds. You're saving 70 pounds off the front end, not including brackets, which they're probably going to save another 5 to 6 pounds, which those things are heavy. Like, I don't know if you've messed with these kind of Novas, but they're stout brackets. So again, if you use the lightweight, aluminum fiberglass ones that say hardwood, I think Unlimited Fiberglass makes them as well. You use their brackets, you save another little bit of weight. I mean, if you used all those brackets, use the lightweight pin-on style, for the fiberglass fenders and stuff like that, there's no reason why you couldn't save 100 pounds off the front end of the car, easy. With that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it was informative for you. I know fiberglass stuff isn't cheap. I happened to find literally all this stuff, like I said. I found that hood for $80. I found those fiberglass bumpers and fenders for like 140 bucks on Marketplace. So if you're good at Marketplace, if you're a Marketplace explorer like I am, you can find good deals if you look and you have patience and you're willing to go 2 hours to go pick something up. You can save, say, I think if you bought all this stuff new, it's probably like $1,000, which is insane. And with all that being said, I have to put this caveat on. If you're going to buy new fiberglass stuff for your car and you're trying to get the best bang for your buck, I would venture to guess a nitrous kit would be probably cheaper for you, because unless you just want fiberglass stuff, I would not spend $1,000 to save 100 pounds of weight. There has to be 100 pounds of weight you can get out of the car somewhere else. Especially, like I said, if you have a 13-second, 12-second bracket car, street car, something like that, I don't know if it's the best bang for your buck. We're going to be talking about the best bang for your buck for your 12, 13-second car in our next video, so be sure to like and subscribe and follow along as we talk about that stuff very soon. Till then, I will see you guys later. Peace. I mean, seriously, if you're not spending like an hour's worth of your life on Facebook Marketplace every day, can you even call yourself a car guy?